All right, streaming this game. Let me get the stream online, and then we will, yeah, start playing. This game. Let me get the stream. Then we will start. Create this announcement. Nice, and we will start. Basic setup. So the weird thing is, like, if these guys like don't really fight in this game, like sometimes I only win by a little bit. But actually, I mean, most of the times I win by quite a lot. But sometimes I win just by a little bit. Two options for me. I can go this way or I can go underneath. I think underneath is the best. I'm not used to lower pincering right now, but I think I'm actually going to pincer to see how this plays out. Like, playing against lower ranked players also gives me a pretty good chance. I don't think that's a good move. But that also gives me, playing against lower ranked players also gives me a really good chance of testing out new moves that I generally wouldn't do, that I generally wouldn't test on higher rank players. It's kind of a weird move, but okay. If he does that, I'm just going to go ahead and take the corner. I think the other move is kind of like out here. That's a really strange move as well. I don't think... If I do this, he can cut, and that would actually put me in a little bit of trouble. But I can also just ignore him or come up this way. I kind of want a Hane, though. But he could cut, and that would be very, very troublesome for me. Do I just ignore him? I don't know. Like, Hane and cutting, like, that's just not very good for me. Yeah, I think I'm just going to extend, because Hane and cutting is just definitely not good for me. And I don't actually mind the extension here. I really don't mind the extension here. I shouldn't Hane this either, to be honest, but I'm going to just to see what he does. This could end up being very bad for me. Okay, that's actually okay. Okay, I'm definitely going to protect against this cut. So I'm going to do this. The influence he's building up here isn't that major. I'm going to jump out just to get a little bit more territory. And then I'm going to invade over here. See, I can still come down here, so he doesn't have that much territory over here. So I am going to just play this, because like okay, that's fine. The potential over here is not that great. It's kind of a strange invasion. Just gonna pincer and jump out. His group isn't very strong here either, so him attacking me is not the greatest thing in the world. And also, like, if you notice here, like, he was building this influence here, and then having me jump out this way kind of like destroys that part of it. Kind of like kills the influence. So I think he's kind of like acting against his own interest of having like these stones here. There's not that much, there's actually not that much he can do over there. There's really not all that much he can do over there. I don't really know what to do about this, actually. I could pincer here, but I think I just kind of want to do this to see what he does. Yeah. This is not a move I would usually do all that much, but I do want to see what he actually does here. There's several ways to actually play this. And I'm actually interested in this. I'm actually interested in the transformation myself. I'm actually very, very interested in the transformation myself here. I mean, this is the only way to play this right now. I do not think he can actually afford this coat with me. I don't think this was actually the right move here, but we'll see. We'll see. The ladder doesn't work for me, but I can break this side. I don't actually think this was that good for me, honestly, because he gets too much on this side. But I do get to break off this side. I also don't think this is a very good idea for him. What do I do here? I think I'm just going to pincer this way. I don't know how good of an idea this actually is. He can still threaten this group, although not quite that well right now. Do I just connect or do I... Nah, I'm going to do this. I was thinking about connecting so he doesn't have the clamp. Definitely going to do this so he can't clamp. I don't know if that was a good move or not. Yeah, I don't particularly like that. I kind of have to do this regardless. I'm actually, oh, that's a really bad move for him. I'll show you why. This was not a good idea for me. But that's a really bad, that's a critical mistake for him right there. That is definitely a critical mistake for him. Because now he's kind of stuck. Okay, which way do I Atari here? That's the real question. My group down here is fine. If I do this and he blocks down, that's going to give me problems. So I think I Atari this way. Double over. I think that's a huge mistake from him. Gets me this, but do I really want to take these stones? But if I do this and he connects, that's actually kind of problematic. I think I'm going to go here, but this is very problematic for me, actually. That I don't know about. I kind of want to just take those two stones. But I know that's not a good idea. Because him haneing that way is actually quite devastating, so I have to keep extending. This is actually pretty good for me. Those two stones actually are not that big. Oh, that's not good. I'm just going to take these two stones then. That's also a really bad move. If I do that, he can actually threaten, so I can't do that. I have to do this. Yep, thought he was going to do that. Okay, do I take what I learned from Katago and try to do something here? No, I probably should just let these two go. That was probably a bad decision by me altogether. I can threaten this. It's actually a pretty good move by him. But this does become Sente now. I can try to play this over here. I can definitely try to play this over here. And then do something about this later. Okay. Huh. I don't like moves like that generally, but don't really have too much of a choice right now. He's playing quite a little bit more solid than most people I play like in this. Definitely most people I play in this this kind of like range of say like this range of ranks. I'm just gonna divide. I probably made a huge mistake in taking these two stones. That's like one mistake that I definitely regret. He doesn't have too much down here because I have both this Knights move in and I have this invasion as well. But then again, I don't really have that much territory either. And that is a kind of a problem here. Okay, so trying to surround that way. That is actually pretty interesting here. Okay, so I get to collaborate here. That's fine. There's a little bit of territory there, but not really. And he is actually giving me essentially this corner by doing this. So I am perfectly happy with this. I want to do this. Doing this would be pretty dangerous because that blocks off the eye space over there. I could try to go over the top, but that would actually like cause me to lose a lot of points. I definitely don't want that. But this is pretty big, actually. Well, that's not that bad, but I mean... I don't think I'm like actually playing right here. I really want to do... I really want to do stuff like that, but I probably shouldn't. I want to get Sente to like do these kind of like corner moves, but I'm not really sure if that's going to happen here. I'm gonna do this first, actually. It's Sente, not really at risk of dying here anymore. This is dead. I've played this with people many times before, and this does not work when you're really this really doesn't work. Oh crap, I shouldn't have done that actually. Oh wait, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just done the other thing. I'm stupid. I should have blocked the other way too. That's definitely going to be a block. Yeah, that was bad by me. That was really bad by me. Actually,
10,
really
9, 8, 7, 6.
Whatever. That was really, really bad by me. Okay, that was really bad by him. That corner actually, I think, would have actually been alive had he just like made this nice move. I screwed up that, but he screwed it up again too. Really. Okay, do I go over the top here? No, I think it'll extend down. Didn't calculate that out perfectly. I will gladly take that, actually. Because he can cut that, but at the same time, it's still Sente for me. He screwed the corner invasion up. Man, this is actually a much, much closer game than I thought. I probably made a lot of mistakes on this one. I know I'd made a lot of mistakes. Is this? I don't think this is Sente for me, because if I leave this, no, I'm gonna have to do this. Definitely not Sente for me. I made a huge mistake in taking these 2 stones. I think that's a bad move by him, because I'm pretty sure like that's Gote for him. I don't think there's a way he can kill me now. So I'm going to take this corner. Like, that's actually, doing that's really big. This is, I'm pretty sure this is also Gote for him. Yeah, playing a bunch of Gote moves here is like really, really bad, because it allows me to get so much just for you, like, just because you're not like that was probably worth like 15, 20 points. So if this game was close, now he's down by 15 or 20 points. That's not going to do anything. It's perfectly fine. Like, he actually had like 15, 20 points down here, but now he doesn't really have anything besides this. My goal isn't actually to try to kill him. I can't actually do that. But like, these moves are just really, really big. He didn't need to answer that either. But like, these moves are actually quite big. Just gonna make sure. Oh wait, he doesn't have to answer that. Now I'm being stupid. He didn't have to answer. There's a double tiger's mouth there. The thing is, I don't know how, I don't, like, he messed up the corner invasion here, so I don't think it was actually that close. But if he didn't mess up the corner invasion here, or if he took advantage of my screw up in the corner invasion, if he actually took advantage of my screw up in the corner invasion here, and like connect everything, this game would actually be fairly close. And like, he gave me way too many Sentes here.
10, 9,
Still,
8,
this game
7,
is still
6.
a lot closer than a lot of the other games I play. And I think I just messed up there as well. Well, I mean, he didn't really take advantage of that, so it's okay. Yeah, I don't think I can do that because there's still this thing here. I got most of the big Sente moves I wanted. But I think when I go back to review this game, you'll see that I wasn't always ahead on this game. I know there's something screwy here, but whatever. Of course, I'm not playing all that careful, but the thing is, like, there are just a lot of, like, there's definitely a lot of ending game errors here that would have actually made the game a lot closer. I think this is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Not really sure if... I don't think there's anything here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. I highly doubt it. No, I don't think there's anything here. I think my invasion here was pretty much a mistake. I just wanted to see how this would turn out, but I think that was actually a mistake. Okay. There's a couple of liberties off. He can't actually do anything. I'm fine. I think I'm pretty safely up by a lot of points now, but that's actually not the point of this. The point of this particular like game is like this one was actually not played pretty well by him, but there were some critical mistakes at the end that actually allowed me to pull ahead by quite a lot. And they're ending game moves. They're definitely like more ending game moves that let me pull ahead. I don't think that's necessary right now. I'm going to extend down. But like you can see, I don't really have that many, I don't really have that many like big territories here. And there aren't that many mistakes. So like the thing is, you can, like on a lower rank player, you can chip away quite a lot. You can definitely chip away quite a lot just at the end because your closing is better than them. That's actually fairly big because I have to do that. I forgot about that, but I wasn't going to do that anyway, so. Yeah, when all these liberties get filled, I do actually have to take some of these stones. And when these liberties are filled, he has to take some stones as well, so it goes both ways. This is actually 2 points now. Oh no, it's 1. Never mind. Never mind. I do have to fill this. I thing is, like, I think one of the other things is, like, he was clearly ahead at one point here if he actually simultaneously attacked two of my groups together. I'm just going to connect on this. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and connect this. Actually, I'm going to Atari this and then connect this. And that would get rid of a lot of the stuff. He has to take it. He can't connect. Okay, I'll just do this first because I don't have to connect just yet. Oh, there's 2 points right there. Dang it. This is actually... Yeah, see, like, I can't do this because then I have to connect here, because if I don't, I don't think I have to do it yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and connect here. That should actually take care of everything. Endgame actually matters for a lot. That's 1 point. I have 2 liberties here. This is 2 points. So obviously, like, calculating the points in a close endgame is very, very important. I personally don't think this game is that close, like I said. That's useless. But if the game were close, like, calculating, like, endgame points is actually very, very important. He did manage to get about 10 points here. Don't think there's anything up here. No. This is like basically the last point. Okay. Yeah, no, never mind. There was a point there. Darn.
Pass.
Gotta connect this one. I don't think there's anything there. No. So this way, connect this way. No, there's not anything there.
Pass. Remove the dead stones.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot further out than I thought. It's actually like 60 points, but so these obviously wouldn't have mattered. I didn't really count that closely. But I do want to focus a little bit on the end game once we get to it. Obviously, like, I didn't really count it out. I thought I was ahead by like 20 or 30, but I'm actually up by like 60. So I guess the corner really wouldn't have mattered either. But the thing is, this was actually not a badly played game. There's definitely like some fighting mistakes he did here, and like the end game, you just have to pay attention and keep the Sente. You essentially just have to pay attention and keep the Sente. Because if you actually lose...
You have won.
If you actually lose the... and the other thing is, yes, I do suck at counting, if you guys didn't notice. The thing is, like, you know, towards the end game, like, here... You have to think, like, you have to be able to read out, like, can I kill this group of stones? if the answer is no, I cannot kill these group of stones, you really don't want to do this because even when I do this, he shouldn't have. He should not have answered. See, like right now, I'm only up by like 30 points, but I ended up winning by 60 points because he essentially lost about 30 points in the end game. So like him, like the thing is like, like right now, right? I'm up by 34 points. So him doing this and then connecting, now that goes up to 41 points because this is massively huge, which is what I did next. This is massively huge. I don't know which one was bigger, this one or this one. But the thing is, like, think about, like, if he didn't do this. He has Sente. He does this. Now, like, he gets half the corner. I would still do this. And then, like, if you do this, like, you have, like, all these. You possibly have, like, 10 points down here, which he didn't get in the end. So that Sente by itself is worth 10 plus points. So he does this. And when I actually counter Atari, you don't connect this. You just go ahead and do this. Because if I take it, you can always just come back. And this isn't really a thing. You can just do this. I mean, like that's not like that's not threatening you. Because like here, like this is not that many points at all. There's like maybe 4 or 5 points in here. If you take the corner, that's at least about 10 points there. So just from this one exchange, me doing this, he loses maybe like 10 points in the end. So when you're doing endgame, you have to really you definitely have to consider these things when you're actually playing the endgame. Like in the endgame, you try to keep as many Sentes as you can. Like him doing this, that might be a Sente because if I ignore it, he can do this clamp later, which takes some of the points off the corner and might even threaten this group as a whole here. So like maybe if you're black, you do this, you do this. Actually, no, you would definitely do this. But you could also think about first doing this because then white may actually have to respond and you can just clamp on the Sente. So like that would be like if this move and this move weren't here, black would do this first because see this move isn't Sente. It doesn't threaten black because if you clamp here and I do like this, you can still kill me. So like if you do this and I do this, you can just clamp, and yeah, it might be Gote, but what am I going to do? Like the most I can do is this. You still take 2 stones, you might lose 1 or 2 points, but that's going to be a lot bigger. So like if black plays this first, white might have to respond, and if white actually responds, then you can just do this. You can either do this, which could actually bolster response because if I go ahead and do this, then you can just you can come down. You won't be able to kill me, but you actually destroy a lot of the points down here as well. So like the thing is, like he could have done this. I might have responded. Actually, I probably would have just done this. But if I had responded and then he was able to do this, that would probably be like a 15. That right there would be like a 15-point swing. Yes, he still would have been majorly behind. That is true, but it'd be more like plus 30 points and not plus 60 points. Like, if I was playing against Katago, I would have still won this game in the end game, but it would have probably been like white plus 10 points instead of white plus, maybe like white plus 15 points instead of white plus 60. Because like in the end game, just exchanging this and then letting me do this and then doing this, oh, that's fine because I have to answer. But then doing that, like you have to count like how many points that is. I'm not threatening this group. So when you do this, you're getting 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 points down here. But if I do this, that's like another, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points, possibly more. So essentially, like, you're basically trading like half of this side here for this stone and this area up here. So otherwise, this game would have been a lot closer if you played the end game right. So because he actually didn't play those Sentes, I got ahead by 30 more points in the end, which is very, very it's very important when you play when you play the end game. So going back on this game, realistic start. So realistically, like in a regular game, I would have definitely played this. I'm much more familiar with this Joseki. First of all, I'm far more familiar with this Joseki, and I personally don't really like to pincer that much unless I'm trying to build some kind of moyo. The other choice is like just do this or do this. then let him like I do. I get this extension, he gets that extension. That's perfectly fine as well. But I decided to pincer to make things interesting because pincering like generally involves more fighting and like more like technical moves. So that I don't really like all that much. I'm gonna because like there's already the stone pincering over here, and this shape isn't that strong. And you give me a little bit of territory underneath. Obviously, like Haneng is a little bit. You know, the thing is, I might have actually Haned myself. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I don't really know how, like, it depends on how you play this fight and how it turns out. So Haneng basically gets you into a fight, because if white does this, obviously it's better for black than what he did, what he had. So I do this, I jump out. Usually, like, in something like this, I think that would probably be the best move, because there's always, like, chances of white doing this and building more. But sometimes I just like to take the higher road. I think this is actually the better move here. So he does that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And here you definitely want to pincer this stone. Going under is a pretty big loss. And I should have Haned, but I was kind of afraid of the cut. I don't really know like how this plays out. I guess this would have been okay because like if you play it this way, if you actually play it this way, black doesn't really get much territory here, and you get this side. So yeah, the Hane was the right move, and then after the Hane, if he disconnects, you basically after the Hane, if he disconnects, you basically just sacrifice the stone, which isn't that big, and then you get way more reward over here on this side. So that's the way I should have played it, but I went back, which is really bad. He does this, I Hane now. And of course, like this is going to be the best move because it threatens that as well. I think he played something close to. Actually, no. He should. No, at this point he should have disconnected. Never mind. At this point he should have disconnected because now, like if I do anything like this, these two stones are a lot heavier and bigger than that one stone was. So I could Hane before the extension, but I can't Hane after the extension. That's the thing. So like I Hane here, he doesn't do that. Of course I'm like, well, if he disconnects now, that's a big problem. So I'm going to protect this cut. But the thing is like disconnecting here gives me two distinct groups. And if I do this, then you can kind of attack over here. Now this cuts black into two groups as well, but black always has the option to do like things like that. And then maybe attack like here or something. Or I don't know how you would actually attack this. Maybe here, I'm not exactly sure. But this actually puts white in a pretty bad position. But him doing that loses several points, and I get to mend my mistake. Now, if you look at the state of the game, white got this territory. White has like some setup for territory over here. What did black get? These stones aren't in a very strong shape, and there's not any points down here. So essentially, like white got a lot territory here and territorial influence here. Black didn't really get all that much. That's why this definitely favors me by 5.3. He does that. That's actually not necessary. Like this is probably a much better move at this point. Like I just wanted some territory on the bottom. But even like, you know, if I did this, if he came down here, I would have just ignored him again. So I definitely should have like not played. I just wanted the territory here. He does this. Obviously, I'm not going to play again. And I'm just going to invade here. I think the best move is actually this invasion here. Either this invasion or this invasion. There's just a lot more space here for me to work with. This invasion, because like, the potential over here is already kind of limited, and I always have the 3/3 invasion if I really need to. So I invade here, he does that, I do this, he does that. And then I'm going to take the other open corner, which is fine. He does this. That's not a really good invasion. I don't know how to answer that, but that's not a really great invasion, because even if I just like ignore you, all you have is the one space jump. So I'm going to pincer. He does this. I do this. That's pretty. He does this. I do this. Now, like when I was explaining in the game, I personally don't like this kind of attack because black's influence in the bottom isn't going to get anything. There's already white stones on the bottom. The thing is, like, if you're going to, like, if you were attacking this way, it would make sense because you already have a couple of stones over here. And if you want to build the Moyo over here by forcing moves later here, then you don't want to push white into your center because that just breaks your Moyo. So adding a couple of jumps and breaking your own influence over here, I don't think is the best thing because you don't really get too much over, but black doesn't get too much over here. That's not a good move right now. I mean, I think this might have worked. I don't think black may not be able to do that right now. I'm not sure. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of tough to say. Yeah, I wouldn't really like this fight either as white. So, I could definitely just do Ko here as well. But I actually think like an invasion like this, or just like even doing this might actually be better. I don't really do this attachment invasion all that often, and I don't think it's the best move here because there's all kinds of moves I can do. Like, I could even fly here, but that would actually open up for this kind of play, this attachment. So I mainly played this, like I said, I wanted to see what he would actually do, and he actually played it pretty well. I was hoping that he wouldn't do this. I was hoping that he would just kind of like do this, maybe allow me to just either extend or Tiger's Mouth or something, but he actually took the thing. Now this particular play wouldn't actually work if I had a stone here. If this ladder worked for me, he couldn't do this. But the ladder does not work for me. I also think the better move might actually just be here. Because letting me get this extra Atari, letting me get this extra Atari, it's definitely not a good move. And I think like I don't really know what Kata would want him to do. I guess the right move would have actually been for him to like Atari here or something. I don't know. I think. Oh no, I wouldn't be able to do that. Never mind. So I think the best move would actually I think the computer wants him to do something like this. Just let me live here. Let me live on the bottom. Let me live on the bottom, but then get this outer thickness, which would be very, very hard to penetrate. I think this would actually be the best move. Like if he actually Atari'd this way, because that would force me to connect. If he connects here, I can really only live essentially down here. And then he plays a forcing move, forcing me to like jump up or something. And then he does this, and this can actually get pretty big. Plus this group isn't extremely strong, so this could actually get pretty big. So I think that was actually the right play for that corner move. This lets me break into the center, so the AI doesn't like this as much, especially giving me this extra Atari. Then I do this. Of course, I'm going to connect over here. The ladder doesn't work, so I'm not going to try to run two sides. I'm going to connect here. This breaks this side. So I guess this invasion was pretty successful for me overall. I think like now that I like read the AI moves, the best move is definitely to force him into the corner and get the outer territory there. So I guess this was played wrong by black as well, but he did actually get this side. I don't actually know how to play this particular move because like I don't really want to play this way. That shape doesn't look good to me. The shape doesn't actually look good to me, so I don't want to play like that. So to me, like I feel like this is the only thing I could actually play, and having me build up is definitely more important. I should have just kept going. I definitely should have just kept going because there's not too many points down here, and building the thickness up here is a lot better. This was okay, I guess. Kind of solidifying this. I think this was probably the better move because if I do this, later on he has a clamp down here. So if I do this, there's no clamp. Doing that, he does that. I'm going to do that to get rid of the clamp first, but that's probably a bad move because leaving that there is probably just better. I don't know what he should have done here. I don't know what the AI actually wants him to do here. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, if he does this, I'm just going to disconnect, so that doesn't work. This move isn't viable. This move isn't viable at all. I don't really know what the AI really wants him to do. Maybe something like this? but that move isn't that great either. So he connects. That is a bad idea from me. That's a really bad idea from me. Because that makes him actually like thicker. So he does this move, which is a huge mistake. Because if he just did this move, and I do this, I can't really cut these two places. I really can't cut these two places. Or like, I can't really cut here either because he has this move. And that's actually pretty troublesome because I have to connect. And this actually gets really sticky. This actually gets pretty sticky for me. Like, even if he doesn't do that right now, he has like that move in the future. Cutting here, this move probably it doesn't work because I have this. So I guess like if I cut here, yeah, I mean if I cut here, I think what you would do is you would just roll and do this, and that's actually not that's actually probably like not too bad. So doing this is a big mistake. Because now if I connect, you can't let me do that at the bottom at all. You kind of like took that option away. Like even though as we see like this, as we see like this move right here wouldn't always work. In this case, it wouldn't. Even if this move wouldn't always work, you leave the option of that move later. Essentially, like think about like essentially it's like a shape like this. But instead of doing this move, you kind of like did this move. That's kind of how you have to think of it. And obviously this move, for the most part, is going to be superior to this move. So by trading this and this, you basically traded away this move for this move. So that's why that's actually a bad move. And you can see there on the points meter, like when he does this, he loses 2 points here. And honestly, it might be worse than 2 points. So I connect this. So like just in exchange of that move, I went from white plus 12.4 to white plus 15.1. That, he lets me go there. And now this is really weak. Now I made a mistake here. I was thinking about actually just doing this, but I don't know how, I don't know how this would actually work. I really don't know how this would actually work. I don't think I could actually... I mean, I might be able to beat him, I guess. That's not that great for me. But it does get rid of a lot of his points, though, so... I don't know about that. I mean, I might be able to do this first. So I wasn't really sure which way to cut. That was probably the wrong way to cut. And actually, you know what? It says he shouldn't connect there. I'm not really sure what you should do instead of connect there. That doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't connect there to me. But he actually does connect, which is actually what I would have done. I'm not sure like what else I would do here instead of connect, because none of the other choices except for connect really makes any sense to me. So he connects. I do that. He comes up here. I do that. I don't want to take this and have him Hane. That would be really bad for this group over here. I really can't let him Hane here. So he goes out, he does this, I'm gonna connect out. He does this, I do this, he does this. I probably should have just done this. I absolutely should have just done that. The two stones aren't that big, and he still has to take them. So if you, I definitely made a mistake here. See, I just lost about 4 points there just by taking those stones and having him do that. Now, here, I think if you're going to cut, just cutting like this is way better. You can always do this later, by the ways. Like, black can always do this later. So he does this, I connect, and then he cuts. I'm going to do this first, but actually that loses a lot of points. So I think I might have just been better off, like, just... I might have been better off just going this way. I'm not exactly sure because I think this actually like leaves him too many opportunities, like him connecting, but there's also like other things he could have done. He could have also just fixed the bottom. I just wanted a stone down here in case I did this. I might have tried to do something like this, like Katago, to see how it went. But I'm not exactly sure what I would have done afterwards. But like if I, But like these type of moves are going to be decent exchanges for him because like he gets more solidified territory down here. So we do this. He connects. I'm going to I'm going to Atari first. He connects and then extend. Now here, like this is going to be you want to do this first. It takes away my eye space because I can't really do this. That's Sente first of all, and now these three are just dead. So if you're trying to kill my group, if you're actually trying to kill my group, you have to do this first. Because now when you connect, I don't have the eye space here anymore. So that's a wrong sequence move in fighting. I'm going to do this. Then doing this, that's also not good because it kind of, I mean, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this move. I think like instead of here, you could have just ignored, I guess he could have just ignored me and done this. I mean, he gets solidified territory down here now, and I would still have to answer up here. So the thing about like attacking is you're supposed to use your attack to actually gain territory for yourself. And I think he's too one-minded in actually killing me right now. That's also a bad move by me, by the ways. I don't like doing moves like this, but here it just solidifies this eye, so it's a little bit necessary. And then I'm going to go down here. Now, there are ways to kill this. There are ways to make this like really hard to live. Because there's not an eye here. I could always do this and live, but if I do this, it hurts this side, obviously. So I don't really want to do that. So I come down here. He answers that. I'm going to play here. Plays here. I do this. That's not a really good move. I guess you could do something like this. I mean, I feel like overall in this shape, this group down here is much more in danger than this group up here. So then he does that. That's a little too loose. Allows me to tuck, and there's a huge amount of problems with this particular move. Not least of all this. There's actually no, if he does that, I actually don't have an answer. I don't actually have an answer if he does that. Like, that's eventually what it would end up as. I don't think he could kill my group down here. I really don't think you can kill my group down here. But in the end, like, you know, like, my stones are very much weakened over here, and now this is definitely alive if you do this. So, yeah, like, when I do this, I think this is by far the best move. Because if I connect here and you disconnect, you have to connect, by the way. I basically don't have an out here. Like, this group is kind of dead. So I don't think I guess I could kind of like sacrifice a little bit over here, but, well, it's not dead, but there's definitely problems here. And I mean, this would definitely at least be Sente. I guess like he's looking at this group out here. You would have to connect that. If you don't, this is actually, you can't connect this. I can take these two. But this would still bring a lot of problems for me. I mean, if you disconnect this way, it's probably even more problematic for me, because I could fix this, but at the same time, you know, like if you do this and you can always, I can probably come down here. I can come down here and live, but this just doesn't, like, in the end, this doesn't really look all that great for me. Which way, no matter which way you take it, it doesn't really, I don't think the outcome's that great for white. So I think that's actually, I'm pretty sure that's the right move to make there. So he does that. I'm going to do this. He does that. Now this is a little too late. I'm going to connect, and he does that. And he kind of has to fix it. This might be a better move just because it's more solid, but he has to fix that. I'm going to go here. He does that. Here, you probably just kind of not do anything. Like maybe maybe like come down here, threaten to kill this group, I would have to answer, and then you would fly in here or something like that. Or maybe just take the 3/3. I think that's probably the right play. So he does this. These moves are bad for black because you're essentially just solidifying my corner. And you don't want to do that because there's Aji in that corner. Here, I don't think you have to respond. There's nothing really threatening about that move. I don't think black should respond. Black should just like play down here or something. I was hoping he would respond, but I was like, I don't think he should respond, but he did. That might actually have a little bit more response, but I don't think I can kill black here anyways. So he responded again, and then that gets me this little cut thing here, and I go on here. That's kind of a weird play. I think I probably could have killed him kind of by doing this. That's the sequence I should have done. Because I don't think you can live here. Because if you do this, is dead. If you do this, the sequencing is dead. If you do this, I'm just going to retreat, and there's not really much you can actually do here. So I actually played this completely wrong. I should have just jumped, and he's dead. But I did this. And now he has a ko. He does this. He does that. Obviously, I have to answer that. He does this. I'm going to connect. And this is definitely a wrong move. The correct move is this. I can take... First of all, when I can take, you can do that. I can Atari, but then you would just take. So this is a ko. This is ko. So this group is definitely ko. I'm still up by like 20-something points at this point, even if he does live that corner, but still. Him connecting is him connecting, that just means that's dead. And of course I jump down here, he's dead, and we have to go through other things. That's also not a great move for the time being. Lets me do that. Of course, like I know this is live. I know this group is live if I have Sente. So since it's Sente, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Now here, I feel like the way to do that is probably just to do this. You know, I was actually considering this, but like I don't think this group up here is under threat, and at this point, like that would actually just take away a lot of my points. So I probably wasn't gonna pull that trigger. Yeah, but that's like just giving me a lot of points in there, so that's not good. And you're giving me Sente here, so obviously I'm just gonna like make this group live. And like I said, now that's the big mistake there. You give me like these closing points, and since now you're giving me these closing points, the margin is just getting wider and wider. You give me another Sente. So the best advice I can give for Q players on Endgame, and Dan players as well, like try to keep your Sente first of all, and you have to count like how many points, when you do a move, you have to count how many points that move is. Ask yourself a question, does this move make this group stronger? Is it critical? If not, how many points is it? And then like, are there other bigger moves on, is it Sente first of all? Like this isn't Sente, so the value is just how many points this is. And this is going to be roughly 2 or 3 points most likely. And you have to ask yourself, are there moves bigger than 2 or 3 points on this board? If the answer is yes, like this move is better than 2 or 3 points, this move is, this move is, this move is. So like there's a lot of moves, this move definitely is. There's a lot of moves that's bigger than 2 or 3 points, so you can't do this move. So allowing me to do this basically like increases the margin here. Of course, letting me get all these Sentes, you can see the margin increasing from like 30-something to 40-something. So within those couple of moves, he probably lost like, now it's like 50-something. So like within those couple of moves, he lost 15 to 20 points just on those ending moves. And he lets me get this move as well. And then he lets, well, this one is not one that he should have responded to because I can't really do anything. It's a double tiger's mouth. I miscalculated this. I totally miscalculated this. So like the other thing on the ending move is, do I have to answer this move? If the answer is no, don't answer the move because there's a lot of other big points on here. that you could possibly get. So he does that. That's also very big. And that's actually a pretty good move. It's gote, but it's actually decently big. Then of course, like that particular move is good. The thing is, I was kind of this group is another threat, so I was kind of afraid of like this. I don't like, because if you do that, it's very hard for me. That's not good. That's really not good for me. So I was actually kind of afraid of this, because if you do this, I would have to do this, and then you have all the sentes here to get me back. So he played that wrong as well. So this is not good. Like you have to do that. You should do this. I do up. That's Atari. Do this. I mean, that's pretty basic. That Tiger's Mouth over. I don't know if that's really a connect or not. I guess so, because this group might be under threat. That's a good move actually. Then I do this. That. There's nothing there. That right now is a little too early. That's essentially just 1 point. I mean, it's Sente 1 point, but it's just 1 point. So, I mean, it's Gote for black. So now I get the initiative again, right? And this is going to be a lot more than 1 point. The thing is, like, if you do this, you're threatening to cut off the stone, and that stone's probably 4 or 5 points. And right now that's pretty big. So as white, I might do this first. You do have to connect, and then I do this, right? But since this is more than 1 point, this is actually more important than this move. So like that's kind of like how you calculate these points in the end. So that's Gote 1 point. I get this move. It's a couple more than 1 point. It's more than 1 point. Not really sure if you have to block there, but then again, there's really not much that's bigger here. That's not that big. That's a mistake by me. But there's not that many big moves left on this board. And right now, like he definitely shouldn't connect this, because that is just only 1 point as well. That's just like 1 point as well. So that gives me back the Sente, so I can just keep on extending my lead. Like these moves, you don't have to, like these moves specifically, you do not have to answer, because at most they're 1 point. So you have to look for something that's like maybe Sente maybe more than 1 point, maybe something like this. Because that's definitely a Sente. Like if you see like absolute Sente moves, you should always take the absolute Sente moves first, because that's just a small advantage you're gaining on the opponent. And if you're like ever wondering like what is a good example of like really good closing game move, play some games against Katago on handicap. Katago is extremely good, very very good on like closing games. Like Katago will gain like 15-20 points on me every single time on closing moves. And that's how I lose a lot to Katago. So that doesn't need to be answered right now. That's actually pretty big, because I can't do that. So that's actually a fairly big move. So I'm just going to curl back and do this. He does that. I'm going to do this. Connects. I'm going to do this. I don't think that's necessary by me either, but still. He does this. Does that. That's also 1 point. And it's Gote 1 point, and if I do this, it's also Gote 1 point for me. So there's probably moves like there's definitely like moves like either here or this that's probably worth more. I mean, it's kind of small right now, but yeah, like, and this game isn't that close, so it doesn't matter. But if the game were like within 1 or 2 points, even at this point, you have to consider those kind of moves, because this move is like 2 points. This is Sente. So before this, you take all the Sentes. Like you would definitely take that first. You would probably take that first as well. So you take all the Sentes first before you make your Gote 1 point. And these are just basic finishing moves in the end. So that's like 2 points there. It's Gote, but it's 2 points. And this, like, you know, it opens up for this as well. So it actually ended up being a little more than 2 points, but I mean, it's Gote, so it doesn't really matter. It's like those are actually going to be Sentes, so you would take those points before you take this point. That's good. And actually that's more than 1 or 2 points, because that forces me to go that way. He does that, that's fine. I close over here. He does that, that's fine. So in a close game, because this isn't filled yet, you don't need to go there yet. So you would definitely like do this or something. Because eventually, yes, you are going to have to connect that. But like that's like 1 point less now because you connected it when you didn't absolutely have to because this isn't filled yet. But I can understand why he does that. That obviously he takes, and then I do this. He does this, and I'm just going to fix this. And basically, that's how this game ends. This is also worth 1 point. Since I'm up by 60, I wasn't about to fight this Ko anyways. But the thing is, like, I just fight the Ko, and then I'm up by 63 points. So the thing is, like, just on these, like, I ended up winning by 63, right? So, but if you actually go back to this, I'm only up by 34. So you can see in the process of the end game, he lost 29 points. So if you can actually up your end game from about, like, if you can up your end game by a couple of levels, you can win a lot of close games. And I'm trying to work on my own end game as well. So that is the lesson for today. Hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. And I will see you guys later.